I'm Emma from Double Stitch Creations. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. This is another Double Stitch Creations tutorial where each week I try to upload a new crochet project that you can stitch along with me so that you can make it, create it and love it too. Last week we worked on these cute little bags and I will put a link in the description to those tutorials. I'm giving these to my nieces, and to go with the bags I wanted to make something to go with the bags, and I asked my nieces what their favourite animal was, and one said a flamingo. So I'm going to make, this week we're going to do the flamingo pencil topper, and we'll also do the flamingo lip gloss cover. It's got a little chapstick inside. And the other niece said she liked dolphins, so in next week's tutorial we'll do the dolphin pencil topper and the dolphin lip gloss cover. So I hope you enjoy those tutorials. Do you like my headband today? This is my Miller's headband. I will eventually get that tutorial up and going as well. I put a link in the description below to all the shoots. Usually each project has more than one shoot or tutorial, so I'll link everything that you need in the description below. Also a link, put a link in the description below to the written pattern which you can purchase from my website. Please like and subscribe. It really does help me out more than you know, and I really appreciate it. Alright, I've got my coffee, I've got crochet hook ready to go. So let's get started with our flamingo pencil topper. Hello and welcome to a Double Stitch Creations tutorial. This is tutorial part 1 for Frankie the flamingo. Today we are making a flamingo pencil topper. Right, for what you'll need to make Frankie is 3.5mm hook if you're just starting out. If you're familiar with crocheting, recommend going smaller, but if you're just beginning, start with a 3.5mm hook. You'll need a tapestry needle. Not essential, but handy is a stitch marker. You can just use a scrap piece of yarn, a pair of scissors, a little bit of hobby feel, and you'll need pink, beige and black and white yarn. I'm using 8-ply wool, but you can use cotton as well. Right, we're going to, you'll be starting with black, but to show you in the video, I'm going to start with beige just so you can see it, but you want to do rounds 1 and 2 in black. But I'm going to show you in the beige colour so that you can see it, and then I'll change to the black when we get to the beige on the beak. So we're going to start with the beak and we're starting with black. You want to start with black, but I'm going to show you how to do rounds 1 and 2 in the beige just so you can see it in the video, because black's not an easy colour to work with. It's hard to see in normal light, let alone on a video. So I'm going to leave a tail, and I'm leaving it a little bit longer than I normally would just because I'm going to use it. This is you want to use it in black. Just remember that I'm just using beige as a sample for you. But you want to leave your tail of yarn a little bit longer than normal because we're going to use it to shape the beak, to make the beak point down a little bit. And then you want to wrap the yarn around your finger twice. Then pull the back loop over the front loop, and then get your tail. We're making a slip knot here. Get your tail and wrap it in front of the loop that is still on your finger, and once more grab the back loop and pull it over the front loop. And now you've got this loop that you can put on your crochet hook, and you can loosen and tighten as needed. And for those just starting, the way I hold my yarn is I just hook my pinky here, I turn and put my pointer under here, and my index finger comes and lightly holds my work close to the crochet hook. The closer it is to the hook, the easier it is to control. My point is keeping this yarn straight, but nothing's tight. This is our working yarn. We're going to chain 2. So yarn over, it's called yarn over in crochet, but you putting your hook under that working yarn, hooking it and pulling it back through the loop and hook. That's 1. Yarn over, hooking it and pulling it back through the loop on your hook. That's 2. Okay, you now have 2 chain stitches. The pattern will say to put 4 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So here's our hook, this is our chain, this is our first chain. It's like a V and this is our second. You can't work into the first because it's just going to undo. So you want to put all for the first round, you want to put 4 single crochets into this second chain. So the easiest way to do it is just follow the tail of yarn, follow it through the slip knot and just pull out that bottom loop of the chain, and you'll tighten it later, but just pull it out. Whoops, not that big. And this is where we're going to put all 4 single crochets. It's just so you can see it. Remember, you will be doing this in black. So turning and putting my hook into the chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both, that's 1 single crochet going into that same chain space that we just made a bit bigger, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So that's the second. We want 2 more single crochets, doing the same thing and into the same chain space. And now you can pull it tight, pull the tail tight, and that's our first round. Now, because 4 single crochets is quite small, usually what I do with the tail is I go into that chain space, then I pull the tail with my yarn over and grab the tail of the yarn and pull it through the front side of our work, and we'll weave that in later. Only do it when we're doing 4 single crochets because it's a bit tight. So I just pulled that through to the front, and we'll worry about that later. You can still pull it tight. And now we're going to do 1 more round, and it's just 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 4 single crochet. So we're just doing a single crochet. So I'm going into the first stitch. So each stitch has a front loop and a back loop, and so you want to put your hook under both those loops for the first stitch, and you're looking again for those little V shapes on top that make the stitch as it gets easier as it gets bigger. This is just the start's always the hardest. So into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's 1. Now going around, I'm going into the next stitch along, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's 2. And then going into the next stitch, 3, and then into the next stitch. Okay, so what you want to do, I'm going to change back to black. So I'm going to change my yarn now so that I can do this in black. Because now, once you've done 2, so we've done 3 single crochets, 3 single crochets of the second round. Now we're going to do the last stitch, and we're going to change to beige colour. So I'm going into the very last stitch of the round. So this is our 4th stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook. Now grab your beige and leave a bit of a tail so that we can knock that off later. Yarn over and pull that through both those loops. So you've now changed to your beige colour. Alright, so we're up to round 3, and we're going to make our beak a little bit bigger. So we're going to go into the first stitch of the round, looking for those 2, the front loop and the back loop. I know it's hard in black, but once I change to beige, you'll be able to see it. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook. That's 1. We're going to put another single crochet into the same stitch. Right, so I'm just doing another single crochet into, so that's 2 into the same. Now 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Then we want to do 2, so we're increasing now, making our beak a little bit bigger. 2 single crochets into the next stitch along. and then 1 single crochet. We'll cut off the black in a minute, and I think we're changing to white from here. Yes, we are, sorry. So the last, grab your white. So the very last stitch of the round, I'll undo it and do it one more. So we're going to the last stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you've got 2 loops, and now we will tidy up these ends in a minute. We're going to change to our white, so leaving a tail, yarn over with the white, and that completes round 3. And now we're going to do round 4 with white, and the first stitch, you might think this black is a stitch, but it's not. It's just where we change colour. It's not, so I'm going into the first stitch, which is the beige, and we are going to increase again, so I'm making our rounds a little bit bigger. So I'm doing 2 single crochets into this stitch, and we'll tighten everything in a minute. So that's 1. I'm going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch, then 1 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. We should have 8 stitches. It's a bit hard to count with all these. We'll cut them off just in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're now up to round 5, and I like to do the first stitch of the round first. So it's a single crochet, so go into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook. So just pause here, and we're going to get rid of these extra. So just cut your black and your beige, leaving a bit of a tail. And we're now going to knot them together. So that one's on the front, that black, so just ignore that. We'll do him later. We're going to knot the black and a beige end together. I usually do, so pull it tight, and I usually do about 3 knots. 1, 2, and 3. And you can trim it. Don't worry about these little ends, you're not going to see it. Now grab the other end of the beige and the white, pull tight, then do your 3 knots. And now you can trim these 2, and that will just tidy that up a little bit for you. And these can you can just tuck these in out of the way, these ends. You can just, part of the filling. Not that I really fill the beak, but yeah. You're not going to see them, so just tuck them in. All right, so we've done stitch number 1 of round 5. We want to just put 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So I'm now we just want to do 1 single crochet in for the 8 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then on the 8th stitch we're changing to pink, so go into that last stitch with the white, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, and grab your pink, leaving a tail, and then yarn over and pull through both loops so that you've changed to pink, and that completes round 5. So we are now, and that completes our beak. So we are working on the head now, and we are increasing one more. So if we go into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both. We're doing single crochets. I'm going to put 2 single crochets into this same stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3, and that completes round 6. So let's get rid of the white yarn. So I always like to do the first stitch of the next round, so just do a single crochet into that stitch, just makes it easier for knotting. Cut off the white yarn, the tail, pull tight, and do your 3 knots, and that will tidy that up too. And 3, and then trim, and I can just tuck into the head and you won't see it. All right, we're just starting round 7. Remember we did the first stitch to knot off the white. So we've done the first stitch of this round already. So this is where our stitch marker will come in handy. Put your stitch marker into the first stitch so that you know that's the first stitch of the round. And now we're going to put another single crochet into the same stitch. That's 2, and then we're putting 1 single crochet into the stitch after that, and then 2 into the next, and then 1 single crochet, and we're just repeating that 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We get back to our stitch marker. So, and then 2, single crochets, then 1, then 2, then 1, then 2, and then 1, and you should find that you have 15 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. So rounds 8 to 10, which is 3 rounds in total, it's just 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 15 stitches. So I'll do round 8 with you, and then I'll leave you to do 8, 9 and 10. So it's just 1 single crochet, put your stitch marker back in at the start, and then we're just going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch around back to our stitch marker, and you want to do that for 3 rounds in total. Alright, so go ahead and do rounds 9 and 10. It's just doing exactly what we did just then, is one single crochet into every stitch around. And then just finished round 10 and we're up to round 11. So this time we're going to decrease. So we're starting to close the back of our flamingo's head. So to do that, we're going to join 2 stitches together. So I'm joining these 2 stitches together. So go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then into the next stitch, yarn over. So going into the very next stitch right beside it because we're joining them together. So into the next stitch, yarn over. Whoops, I just lost it. Do that again. So into the very first stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop, and into the very next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook this time, then yarn over and pull through both, and that's a single crochet decrease. So we're now making our head a little bit smaller, and you can put your stitch marker back in here if you like, so you know the first stitch of the round. Okay, so now we're doing one, so we've done a decrease, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And now we want to do a decrease, so we're joining these 2 together into that stitch, then into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, so you pull up a loop, so you've got 3 loops in your hook, then yarn over, pull through all 3, so we join those together. Now we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to join the next 2 together with a single crochet decrease. So joining these together, so I'm going into that stitch, and then into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, so you have 3 loops in your hook, then yarn over, pull through all 3, and then 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and you should find that you have 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, this point we're going to pause here and embroider our eyes. So you need black and white here. So I grab some black yarn and tapestry needle, and I usually double my yarn when I'm embroidering. So two strands, and then the eyes are between rounds 8 and 9. And they're 3 stitches apart. So I just sort of have a look at my flamingo and see which is its best side, I guess. So I'm counting from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 and 9 here. And you're skipping the 3 stitches apart, so approximately. So just take a look because you kind of want it centered. So I'm going to try here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So just leave a bit of a tail. Oops, don't get confused with that. Leave a bit of a tail for knotting. Then, so I've gone into round 9 and I'm coming down. I'm kind of making a little bit of a V shape. And I just want to make sure I get the 3 where I want it. Maybe they're 4, actually they're 4 stitches apart, that makes sense. Yours might vary too, depending on, so I'm going to make a bit of a V shape with my eyes and coming down to round 8. And then I'm going to go back in at round 9. And And then I might go over it again one more time to make it really stand out. And I'm pretty happy with that actually. So now I'm going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to start my next eye on this side, and you'll probably find your own way of doing it. They all come out differently, which is good. Just remember to try and keep your yarn at the back here free from tangles, because it is really annoying when they get tangled. So I'm just making a bit of a V shape. And so it looks like a bit of a love heart, and I'm going to go back over this side for one more time. Then once you're happy with the placing of your eyes, just cut it, leaving a tail. We'll knot that in a minute. And grab your white yarn, and so we're going to add some little catch lights into our flamingo's eyes. So I'm just going into the same stitching really, just leaving a tail. I've also doubled my yarn because we're going to knot that together. And I'm going into the same stitching, but I'm going to come like halfway down the eye. And I might do it one more time on this just to make it really stand out. And then do the same on this side, just keeping these ends where they belong. And I'm going to do it one more time. Alright, when you're happy with it, trim this. Okay, you have 2 black strands on one side of your flamingo, and 2 black and 2 white strands, and then 2 black and 2 white on the other. So we're going to knot the white and the black together. So I usually do. Just be careful that you don't pull it too tight, otherwise you're pulling the features. So the first knot's not too tight, then the other 2 are tight. And then just trim it. And now do this side. Okay, so remember not to do the first knot too tight, and then just do another 2 knots. And then trim it, and that finishes off our eyes. And now we might close the back of the head a little bit more, and then we'll fill it with a little bit of filling. Alright, so the next round is decreasing in every stitch. So we're going to join each stitch together, or joining these 2 stitches together first. So into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up another loop, then yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 1. We want to do 6 decreases. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up another loop, and I'm going to do 1 more decrease, and then I might put a little bit of filling inside the head of our flamingo. And just to give it I'm not doing the beak, I'm leaving the beak free, but I'm just putting some stuffing into the head to give it some nice shape. Alright, so continuing with our decreases into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. We want to do 2 more, so that's 6 in total for this round. I think this is round 12, I think we're up to. And just count to make sure you got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so that completes our flamingo head. Now, while we're here, we can try and shape the beak a little bit and get rid of this end. So grab your tapestry needle, and I'm weaving this in as I go, but I'm just trying to bend. I just want to bend down that beak a little bit so that it points down like the flamingo. So I want to might go into the tip here and pull it down, and just kind of tilt down just like that, and then just weave this in and out a bit. And then trim it. Okay, so that completes our head. And now we're working on the flamingo's neck. Okay, so rounds 13 to 19, which is 7 rounds in total, we're just doing 1 single crochet into each of the 6 stitches, and we're going to do that for 7 rounds. So just doing 1 single crochet. I usually just count it, so that's 1, 2, you can use your stitch mark if you like, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I will leave you to do the next 6. So to go and do that 6 more times, and I will see you at the end of round 19. So just 6 more times, doing 1 single crochet into every stitch for 6 rounds. So 36 stitches, I guess you could count 36 times, or just 6 times. All right, I will see you at the end of round 19. Okay, just finished round 19. I'm starting to make the neck of our flamingo. So we're going to do round 20, and we're just increasing slightly here. So we're going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch. So 2 into the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and you should have 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so that completes tutorial part 1 of Frankie, our flamingo, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.